Coming up, Sam Paine, please. I'm going to take a second to read the text I've worked out.
Yeah, we got to get that set up.
Yeah.
Well, that's good morning, folks. Thanks very much. By the way, Matt and I actually have the exact same job in the Marine Corps, which is kind of comical to me. But anyway, I was told I have about 15 minutes, so I am going to go over a lot of information as quickly as I possibly can. And I pared down a presentation that generally takes about an hour, which by the way is available on YouTube. By the way, can you all hear me in the back and everything? Okay, if I start speaking softly, which isn't likely, but if it does happen, please let me know, okay? I took a presentation that's around an hour and I shrank it down to what I could get as close to 15 minutes as I possibly could. Actually, I leave one set of lights on. Let's see. How about? Oops. Is that the magic one? Okay. Great. And I was going to spare you all my resume, but in fact, I still will spare you my resume. In a nutshell, I've spoken all over the state. I'm from Navajo County. I've done a lot of work up there with those folks. The reason they're so successful is they talk to their neighbors. They talk to each other. I mean, cut and dry, bottom line. So. Alrighty, I was on the radio for a few years. I'm not real comfortable talking about myself, but I've spoken all over. After which you can get a card. I'm happy to speak for any group. I'll be speaking to the Central Arizona Liberty group tomorrow night, actually, and doing the full hour on Agenda 21. So, okay, great. Looks like here we are. All right, folks. What we're going to cover tonight is the connection between Agenda 21 and sustainable development, smart growth, etc. We are going to go from Tempe to the United Nations in 3 easy steps using Tempe documents and United Nations documents. Okay, so it's not going to be hearsay. It's going to be straight from the horse's mouth. We're going to talk about why so few people have heard of Agenda 21. And we're going to dispel the, oh my God, it's a conspiracy theory, pull out your tinfoil hats notions. All right, we're going to start. By the way, a lot of the information, the Agenda 21 ICLEI folks are constantly reacting to the pushback that they're getting for their attempt to destroy private property rights, etc. So they're constantly scrubbing their websites and changing what they do. They're very nimble. This is actually from, if you can see that, it's UN.org. This is off of the United Nations website. And this is the Sustainable Development page and Agenda 21. It says, Agenda 21 is a comprehensive plan of action to be taken globally, nationally, and locally by organizations of the United Nations system, governments, and major groups in every area in which humans impact the environment. Okay? How do we as humans impact the environment? Breathing. So anything beyond breathing, we're really impacting the environment. Okay? So this is a way to have some bureaucrat in Geneva or wherever tell everybody on Earth how to live. Does that sound like freedom to you? No. Agenda 21, the implementation plan of action for the UN Sustainable Development. Hey, remember this guy? This is actually a press release for an executive order which President Clinton released in 1993, highlights. It is to respond to the recommendations in Agenda 21, the Comprehensive International Policy Declaration nations of the world agreed to as a pledge to global environmental action and contribute to the U.S. plan to be submitted to the United Nations Commission on Sustainable Development, the international commission created at the Earth Summit to help ensure implementation of Agenda 21. This is a presidential executive order. Okay? Now, how come I have never heard of Agenda 21? I know everybody in here has heard of Agenda 21, maybe too much, because I know there's a lot of pushback in the Republican Party right now saying, oh, you're crazy, leave us alone, it's just some grant money from the feds. Okay? This is Tempe's website. I was asked to specifically concentrate on Tempe, and what I did, this is tempe.gov, I searched for Agenda 21. There were no results. It doesn't say anywhere. So obviously Tempe is not involved in Agenda 21, right? Obviously. This is a transcript to a speech that was given in England by a guy named J. Gary Lawrence. Okay, this is the United Nations letterhead. It's a UN document. Okay, who is Mr. Lawrence? Well, Gary Lawrence is one of the key thinkers on sustainable development, an advisor to the U.S. President's Council on Sustainable Development, director of the Center for Sustainable Communities at the University of Washington, and chief planner of the city of Seattle. Now, when he was in England, he gave this nice speech. He said, local Agenda 21, or LA 21, suggests tools for use by local authorities to address these important economic, environmental, and social questions. Social questions. We need the city, I'm not picking on the city of Tempe, city of Mesa, Chandler, Goodyear, to tell us how to get along socially? That just strikes me as odd, okay? But, once again, apparently socially we impact the environment, okay? Oh, by the way, a little side note. The George H.W. Bush signed a treaty in Rio in '92 that was to implement this. The U.S. Senate rejected it. President Clinton went around it and implemented it anyway. So, folks, we should have impeached old Slick Willie not for what he did with Monica, but for implementing an international treaty which our representatives in the Senate said no to. Okay? All right. What did Mr. Lawrence have to say when he was in England? He said, in the case of the United States, our local authorities are engaged in planning processes consistent with Agenda 21. But there's little interest in using the LA 21 brand. We're going to do it, but we can't call it that. We don't want to say what it really is. Participating in a UN-advocated planning process would be very likely to bring out many of the conspiracy-fixated groups and individuals in our society, such as the National Rifle Association. Okay, and I'm just judging by the stickers on the way in here. I suspect there's a few of you in here.
Civil rights organization.
Absolutely. And some members of Congress. So, it's going to bring out members of Congress who are the representatives of us, right? This segment of our society would actively work to defeat any elected official who joined the conspiracy by undertaking Agenda 21. And I would like to say, you're damn right. So we call our processes something else, such as comprehensive planning, growth management, or smart growth. Remember that term, smart growth. Okay? So, hey, we're going to do it, but we can't say what we're really doing because the people might object. Okay? That's not like a free country. I'm going to come back to that a lot.
Smart according to who?
Absolutely. Okay, so once again, I went back to Tempe, my search began, make a change. Is Agenda 21 in Tempe? No results. Apparently it's not. Then I searched smart growth. 28 results. And EPA recognizes Tempe for smart growth achievements. Okay? It's here, guys. It's being implemented right here in the city of Tempe as we speak. Okay, just FYI, the way that they actually do this, people, if they really get into it and realize what it is, and I apologize, I didn't have enough time to go through the whole thing, but the way that it's actually implemented at the local level is through zoning ordinances, permitting fees, wetland restrictions, conservation easements, access restrictions, hundreds of other planning regulations and schemes, etc., etc., etc. Okay? Death by 1,000 cuts. Okay. Now, ICLEI. I searched ICLEI on the Tempe website. ICLEI. And besides Matt, have you heard of these? A few. Okay. What that is the International Council on Local Environmental Initiatives. This is the NGO created specifically by the United Nations to implement Agenda 21 worldwide. It's a massive organization with a massive budget. Apparently it's not in Tempe though, okay? ICLEI is not in Tempe, right? It's not on the website, anywhere. And this is the public information for us public types, right? Okay, here's the member list from ICLEIUSA.org. Wow, look, there's Tempe.
Yeah.
Tempe is a dues-paying member, so your tax dollars are leaving the city of Tempe and being used to attack your private property rights. Okay? Now, another reason, how come we've never heard of it because they won't say what it is. Okay? This is ICLEIUSA.org once again, And what are their great resources? Training to help local governments respond to the Agenda 21 conspiracy theory. Okay? Because it has nothing to do with the UN. Nothing. Members only. Not for public discussion. Are there any members of Anonymous in this? I would really like to see this, because that would be some great slides for my next presentation. Actually, perhaps that councilman can get that for me. Okay, I searched sustainable development, 'cause that's one of the other words, right? 33 results. Okay, so it's there, it's just not being called what it is. Now, from Big League USA once again, is sustainable development the same thing as Agenda 21? Good question. No, it is not. No. Sustainability is a mainstream concept, and sustainability initiatives in government, corporate America, academia, and local communities typically have no connection to Agenda 21. So, no, it's not, but typically it doesn't, so it maybe it does. I'm too simple for this. My good country upbringing, I don't understand the two of those. So, okay, there we go. In other parts of the world, local governments and other stakeholders have more directly supported the principles of Agenda 21. So, okay, it is, but it's not in the same two paragraphs. Okay, it is, but it's not, but it is, but it's not. But not here, but over there, but maybe. Okay? ICLEI has supported these local governments in their efforts. So we're not part of Agenda 21, but we do support it. But, okay, anyway, yeah, okay. You get the idea. Okay, how does this affect Tempe? Well, this is actually part of a webinar that talked about how to, and in another presentation, I can go into detail and show you all the documentation on this. This is part of a webinar that was put in by ICLEI and HUD, and it was what to do with the grant money we're going to give you. And it said, expedite changes in local zoning and land use. They did not specify public or private land. Remove barriers to sustainable development. Okay? So if my house is a barrier to the light rail, yes, you guys can do the math on that. Okay? All right, Tempe to the UN in 3 easy steps. Tempe is a member of ICLEI, a dues-paying member of ICLEI. Okay? NGO to implement Agenda 21. This is a transcript of a speech given by Mr. Sha Zhu Kang, Secretary General of the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development. So, this is a ICLEI-sponsored event by a UN official who was in charge of Agenda 21. Okay? This was a speech he gave in Washington, D.C. At the outset, let me thank my hosts, ICLEI, International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives, or Local Governments for Sustainability. You are a long-time partner of the United Nations going back to Rio 1992. ICLEI is a close partner with the United Nations. Tempe is a dues-paying member of ICLEI. Okay? Why do you pay dues to an organization if you're not going to listen to what they do or allow them to influence what you are doing? Okay? And they have huge books of ways to implement this stuff. They have the regulations and zoning stuff already written. All you've got to do is download it and put your city's name on it. Okay? All right, so that was Tempe to the UN in 3 easy steps. And how am I doing on time? I've got 5 minutes left. Wow, okay. Okay, and I would just like to leave you with this. If this is such a good thing, why do they have to lie about it? Thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you, Sam. Sam, where can they find you if they want to hear your talks on some other topics you do?
Oh, sure. Actually, hit me up on Facebook, Sam Paine. You'll know it's my page. I do actually have some cards. And
Thomas Paine.
SAMPAINE. It's actually Sam Paine, all one word, ymail.com. Thanks so much for that. I'm happy to come out. I've spoken all over the state, and I'd be happy to, give me a little bit of notice, and I'm pretty flexible in my schedule generally, and I'd be happy to come out and speak. I've got a much more in-depth thing on Agenda 21, the ideological origins of the Declaration of Independence, which it's a good one, and things like that. The NDAA, rule of law, liberties, things like that. So.
Sam, thank you. Thanks again, Sam. So that's Agenda 21. How many people know in this room that that's actually part of the Republican national platform?
Page 45.
Page 45, right. So,
in favor or against?
Against. So so the people that we elect to send all the way to wherever they're meeting for the national committee meeting, voted for putting language in there against Agenda 21. But obviously it doesn't exist, right? Yes, ma'am.
Just a comment on reading the newspapers. The East Valley Tribune has had several editorials against Common Core and against this Agenda 21. Last Saturday we picked up the East Valley Arizona Republic, and it had two big editorials for Common Core, how great it was, and then one for Agenda 21, but that one was mainly making fun of them, calling them loonies and everything that were against.
What did Gandhi say? First they ignore us, then they laugh at us, then they fight us. We're in the laughing stage of this one. So yeah, it's conspiracy, just like Mr. Paine so obviously pointed out.
So watch your newspaper editorials, and we need to write more.
And Mesa is having some eminent domain issues happening right now. There are appraisals happening that are below market value. They're appraising land, just vacant land to push through new legal stuff. So all stuff we can look up. Guys, one other thing that is in the Republican platform is not in the Federal Reserve. We have a movie tonight. We're going to try to show it. We get the speakers hooked up. But it's an animated short. It's about 30 minutes. It's controversial because it's about the Federal Reserve and fractional banking. But by show of hands, anybody object to showing that? 1, 2? Okay, I'll count that. Okay, great. Any new business tonight before we move on to the next step? Yes.
The rally tomorrow, I guess Jan Brewer's holding a rally.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Jan Brewer's holding a rally in favor of her Medicaid expansion.
Correct.
And from what I understand, it was a secret, I guess. Somebody intercepted the email, and they put it on, in fact, it's on our calendar, on the LD 26 calendar. The email that I guess Jan Brewer's people sent out to get her people to come and support the Medicaid expansion. I guess she's invited all kinds of people from hospitals and healthcare organizations and whatnot.
Paid day off and show.
Probably, yeah. So anyway, there's a counter demonstration apparently that's being organized, and I'm planning on getting to that tomorrow at 11. This is when the rally is. So there's the Medicaid expansion rally, and then the counter rally, I guess, will be right there at the same time.
Conservative host Bill Whittle has been added to the counter rally.
Oh,
He's going to have a discussion on the lawn at noon with Representative Warren Peterson.
Awesome.
So it is gaining strength.
I was saying, so the counter rally, Joe, what's the business over here?
The motion that I wanted to make is this. I think we should show some support. Here's the motion. I move that we as a district create a large sign in opposition to Medicaid expansion and display it permanently at tomorrow's rally. I further move that the sign indicate that the Arizona District 26 Republican Committee, as a body, opposes the Medicaid expansion, and that the sign read, quote, the AZLD 26 Republican Committee opposes brewer care, or some such wording that the body would decide today.
I'll summarize. The motion on the floor is to make a sign that specifically states LB 26 is in opposition to brewer care. Is there a second? We have a second? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Motion. Motion carried, but it is correct. Is there any discussion?
What's the cost?
I'll address that. I'll donate.
The question is, what's the cost?
I'll donate the materials and either make the sign if I need to. It has to be done by about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. so I can drive there and get there by 11, because the rally is 11 to 1. So I'll be happy to do that. I didn't want to do it myself and mention Arizona District 26, though, without having approval of the whole body here. And that's why I brought this up today.
Can we do something like this? Not very many of us here, like not even close to quorum, or we vote on a motion like that? I don't know if we can, if we don't, we're not even close to say the whole district.
That's a fair question. I'm not going to pretend to know the bylaws as well as some of the other people here right now. I do, so I will, not as an excuse, but the chairman is not here as well. I believe the quorum, we would need 50% of the PCs, and we have 112 last count. But I don't believe that would be I think it's just a body for an actual, for like a resolution kind of thing. We're not actually voting. No, it's a fair question. And this is the kind of question that's important, because we should know our bylaws. We should know these things. I should know what the rules are if I'm going to chair a meeting, right? So these are things I learned too. So no, that's a good question. There's no bad questions. But Chairman Jones is not here, so we can defer to him. Chairman Jones, there's a motion on the floor to bring a sign in support of opposition to brewer care, specifically naming LD 26 Republicans. The question to that motion: do we have a big enough body to support the quorum?
I think I saw it meant to say we have 22 PCs present, so we don't have even 25% of all of our PCs, so I would say we don't have a quorum.
Do we need one?
What do the bylaws say?
Yes, sir.
Did the LD 26 issue a resolution?
The resolution against the expansion of Medicaid passed, I believe 37 votes yes, 1 no, and 3 abstentions.
Then if you've already done a resolution, doesn't that already take care of it?
Yes.
I might suggest that in light of the fact that we all